Here we go for the big show. It's exciting. I get to live stream now. So this is all about taking care of business with Elvis. And I think you're going to like what I have to bring tonight. For my new friends and my patrons over at Patreon that eventually will find this, I've been on this Presley mystery for a while, you see. I was recruited in January of 2017 to bring my Susie psychic skills along with my hairdressing skills to get into a messed up story and discern what I could bring forward, something that could alleviate suffering, because that's what I do as a holistic stylist. It's interesting. I realized when I went out to do a talk in the community that I had done over 30 of these shows. So I just want to give you a very quick recap, and I won't be playing any Elvis music tonight because I'm not going to get hit with any copyright strikes. I am going to be so good. Okay, so I'd like to get over to my Facebook. I just need to move my screen a little more. And you know, I have all these options up here. Look, I could share my screen right now. Screen share. Should we dare to screen share? I'm a little scared. Hang on. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to zip over to Facebook. That's easier for me. Okay. So let me get down to what's important. See, there's my new post. I hope somebody comes to see me over there, or hits the little follow button, or wants to be my friend. It's a really cool format. I'm almost there. Here we go. I'm going to be making comments on these two posts that I'm going to read to you tonight. These are both very recent. They were shared with me through one of the Elvis fan Facebook pages. The first one is called Disgraceland. Lawsuit says Elvis Presley Hotel is a cesspool of death. And the next one is Elvis Presley's Enterprises takes on Memphis and the Grizzlies with a misguided lawsuit. I have pre-read these. I do know what's going on. I do see how it fits into the story. So here's what's going to happen with the show tonight. Besides my extensive research and knowledge, I've also come up with a sweet little list of videos that I collected along the way and stuck in the playlist at Randy Morgan's Off Planet, TV and media on my Facebook page. And I would have to say that besides 3 of these, which are beautiful love offerings, the rest is a walk of shame. And I'm not going to play the videos, but I will surely tell you about them, show you where to find them, and also let you know who did the super work of putting them out. And, here's my focus of the evening. This is the bridge we're going to work on. Now, when are we going to choose love and family and self-fulfillment and happiness over money or energetic currency? And of course, this is a huge topic right now everywhere we go. But when you think about this energetic currency, and people are still curious as to what that is. They call it a looshing of energy. And any story that gets you worked up or angry or scared, if someone is pulling a manipulation tactic, they would be doing that to loosh or act parasitic, or even like an energetic vampire, you see, to drain the energy from these people. And of course, besides their emotional and physical state of being, every little thing getting pulled away, no doubt they're dropping the big money as they go too. This is what we need to get in check here as this progresses. But you know, I do want to bring up the concept of sacrifice. And of course, blood sacrifice has been around as long as we can look back in this thing we call time. But you know, there's a legal term for blood sacrifice, and it's called blood libel. The last case was in 1907. That's neither here nor there. That's just being a spiritual researcher and a person that enjoys producing artistic, heartfelt videos and, you know, putting a little bit of comedy behind it, right? Okay, so we've got our 3 points that we're going to be working on and with and through. And then, of course, I have my co-hosts of the evening, as you guys know. Let me get out of the way. Of course, here we have our 2 American crew models. And being a holistic stylist, oh, back in the day, I surely did see when Elvis was the big sexy hair model. But now he has a friend with him. And I've got a few other things sitting around, give you a little background on me. Okay, let's read these things. Now, of course, before we even get started, there's a lot of people that would blow this off because the National Enquirer is who put it out. But with what we've learned, we realize that whether it is the New York Times or whomever, wherever, whether it's the Riverfront Times here in St. Louis, whether it's any of these papers, odds are they're owned by 1 or 2 corporations. And whenever you come to a page like this, this is what they call clickbait, but this is what people listen to. So let's go over this. This is a hot tub horror. Disgraceland lawsuit says Elvis Presley Hotel is a cesspool of death. Insiders fear lawsuits could launch Lisa Marie into a tailspin. We're not going to view the gallery. And of course, you know, right here is all the stuff that's going on with exposure in Hollywood, which we should expect. We have some comments, but really, we need to read the article. Where'd the article go? I don't know that I want to see the gallery, but I would like to read the article to you guys. I read it earlier. She's going to lose all sorts of money because she owns 100% of Graceland, and she has like 19% in EPE Enterprises. And you'll be hearing a lot about the corporation of EPE Enterprises tonight. And I also ask you to keep in mind that whatever you may believe about Elvis Presley, there's one thing we all know to be true. He was generous, and he did not rip off poor people who loved him. That's the last thing that man would have done. Let's see. Talk about Heartbreak Hotel. The guest house is a killer, the National Enquirer learned from a source. Now insiders fear this new scandal surrounding the hotel next to Elvis Graceland's mansion attraction could push four-time divorced Lisa Marie, shown here recently with her daughters Ryler, Harvey, and Finley, over the edge. Now, what I will say about that is using anyone's family or any facsimile thereof is just downright dirty pool, but we know they do it all the time. So there are real people being hurt here. That's a shame. She's been practically homeless, crashing on friends' couches, and her twin daughters are in care of her mom, Priscilla, says a source. This is the last thing she needs. Now, keep in mind, at the ceremony that was held in respect, of Elvis Presley's 40-year passing, she was fine out of rehab and had her kids back. So you see, story upon story builds, and this entity suffers, as well as a lot of people get confused. Right, Lisa Marie owns 15% of the $92 million hotel and 100% of her dad's mansion, but is reportedly broke and battling addiction to prescription pills. 2 lawsuits have already been filed against the guest house, and the payouts to victims could slash Lisa Marie's strained income. Isn't that kind of like saying, hey, we don't know where that gajillion billion dollars went on, defense or whatever it is. It's a made-up story, and I often wonder where the money really is, and if that's even the primary draw. I don't believe deep down it is. I believe there's something way more sinister at hand, but we'll go on. The scandal exposed when Linda Gale Godsey of Breathitt County, Kentucky, died from lethal Legionnaire's disease on June 21st, just days after she and 3 women relatives returned from the guest house. It's all about the water, right, you guys? I'm already up on this, and let me bring up before I read this. Here's your story about the water. In a town near you, they're finding out that they haven't cleaned the water towers that hold water since 1999 in most cases. I guess they went broke in 2000. Maybe 9/11 did it. I don't know. Point being, to know something like that and to get in bed in order to create a big pile of theoretical money that you build a thing with, knowing full well that it's a loser and that you'll write it off and that there's problems looming everywhere. It could be a shiny bauble story. The shiny bauble that makes you look the wrong way. All right, let's see what it says. The women spent time in the hotel's hot tub and became sick after returning home. According to their attorney, Joe Savage. Hey, that's a great name for a lawyer. In my opinion, there was clear negligence in the failure to properly regulate the hot tub and allowing the very virulent bacteria to grow in the tub, Savage said. Right, that means the water wasn't hot enough, or you didn't clean it out, or somebody did something unclean in the tub. Okay. Guest Jennifer Walker has also filed a lawsuit charging she contracted Legionnaires from the luxury hotel's pool and hot tub. She began suffering from a severe lung infection and was diagnosed with the illness. According to her suit, a county health department investigation of the hotel found the sprinkler system tested positive for Legionella bacteria. The lawsuits may bring deep financial hardship to Lisa Marie, said the source. this could plunge her back into a tailspin. That's the second time he's brought that up. All right. Yeah, you're repeating, we're done. Okay, great. No, we're gonna get out of there. And we're gonna go to this one. Okay, and before I begin that, I'd like to say that looking at these is just like confirmation of spirit, because as we go into the list, the proof, hey, how do we get this off, you guys? Anyhow, once we get there and get to read all this, when this dance and fun, no, I'm not subscribed to commercial appeal. But it is cool. Thanks for supporting local journalists and the stories they tell, but you can't force that on somebody. That's not cool. Okay. There we go. Here's our story. But keep in mind, wait till we hit the list. A lot of things that tie together. Elvis Presley Enterprises takes on Memphis and the Grizzlies with a misguided lawsuit. Oh, hey, you can buy this photo if you like. Elvis Presley Enterprises can build a 6,200-seat concert hall. It can build a 7,200-seat concert hall. It can build an 8,200-seat or a 9,200-seat or a 100,000 to 200-seat concert hall. It can build that hall and book all the concerts it wants. It can bring back Elvis Presley himself to perform. It just can't build that concert hall with public money because of the deal between the city, the county, and the Memphis Grizzlies. It brought the Grizzlies to Memphis and has saved the city and county millions of dollars a year. That's no reason to file a lawsuit that has enraged Mayor Jim Strickland. That must have bewildered the Grizzlies, and that has exactly no chance of bringing Elvis Presley Enterprises even more public loot. Yet there were EPE announcing Wednesday it had filed a declaratory judgment action asking the Chancery County of Shelby County to declare that the proposed development of a 6,200-seat entertainment and event venue on Graceland campus would not violate the non-compete and non-participation covenants in the FedEx Forum use and operating agreement between the city of Memphis and the Memphis Grizzlies. Hey, before they tell you don't be fooled, I gotta tell you about some fools. Okay, now first things first. I don't know if it's the mayor in this article, but it's somebody that sounds an awful lot like this name. Actually, has his hand in EP Enterprises. It kind of reminds me of the Colonel Parker story right off the go. And the whole thing about, Elvis Presley Enterprises can do. Let's remember that whether this man is in one form or another, he has nothing to do with the building of all the shiny baubles and the destruction of what he knew and loved. And of course, I've covered that on one of my many shows. It's almost like they're mocking him. It can bring Elvis himself to perform. Well, right. That's because they're doing those hologram performances. And I don't know about the Grizzlies because I'm not really into sports, but what I do know, I have a personal friend that lives very close to all this action. And she told me that, believe it or not, There's only two things that stand between Graceland and the airport. One of them is FedEx. Supposedly, that's where a lot of the things come in that are plaguing the community, whether it's the heroin or now the cocaine. We're all starting to hear stories about that. And it was amazing right after that 40-year, that's what they brought in. All right. Elvis Presley fans flocked to the FedEx Forum for Elvis, the Wonder of You 40th anniversary concert. Jim Weber, the commercial appeal. Now I see, said the blind girl. Okay. That's no reason to file a lawsuit that has enraged Mayor Jim Strickland. That must have bewildered the Grizzlies, and that has exactly no chance of bringing Elvis Presley Enterprises even more loot. Right, I heard about that. Okay, don't be fooled by the nature of the lawsuit. It is misguided. It is ill-fated, and it runs counter to the best interests of the community that recently invested tens of millions of dollars in tax incentives to help EPE build a swanky new hotel. Oh, come on. You know the community did not vote for that. That's kind of like coming to Ferguson and saying they voted to let Express Scripts have a big chunk of land and pay no taxes for 7 years. I know about this stuff. I'm from the ghetto. Okay. And yes, to explain all this, we're going to have to take up the subject of the non-compete clause in the FedEx Forum lease, which may be one of the least popular smart things the city and county have ever executed, right? Y'all did it yourself, man. Isn't that something? Greedy, greedy, greedy. Okay. Now, of course, Graceland backs off the plan for the concert venue, citing objection from the Grizzlies. The non-compete clause exists to protect the city. Hey, is that kind of like it's a one-horse town, man, like here in Ferguson? I mean, I'm a business owner at 30 years, and I was told there was no way they were going to let me run my business because it would compete against the one gal that got all the TIF money. So, see, in my experience as a spiritual researcher, I always look at what I've learned in my life and I apply it to the bigger picture. Okay, so the non-compete clause was a way to get the Grizzlies to take over operations of the Forum, FedEx Forum, and the losses that would inevitably come with that. C, the non-compete clause is something we agreed to, so the Grizzlies would operate FedEx Forum on our behalf, is how Strickland recently explained it in a letter to constituents. Remember, arenas lose money. And when FedEx Forum loses money, the Grizzlies are on the hook, not us. It appears this clause has saved taxpayers millions of dollars since the building opened in 2004. I don't believe it. And you know, something else I find very interesting, and I haven't paid any attention to it really. Through the whole time that I've been doing this research, they've had a little contest going on. You know, who's more popular, Elvis or Michael Jackson? So now you get into the king of rock and roll, you know, versus the king of pop. And as you get more down the conspiracy chaos tunnel of caca, you get the whole thing about whose babies are those that Michael Jackson was trying to pass off as his own. But we're not going there tonight. I'm not going down any tunnels. I'm just bringing concise information. Accordingly, the lease provides that neither the city nor the county can, without prior written consent of the Grizzlies, design, develop, construct, or otherwise fund, provide economic or tax benefits or incentives to help build a new facility that would seat more than 5,000. That's plain as day, right? Oh, and hey, Graceland could get a new events center in 2019, so just rake in another ride in the amusement park from hell, where, as a remote viewer, I saw the spell casting and the rituals that were going on there and the energy that was being loosed. Have some of that. So, when EPE first announced it intended to build a new 6,200-seat arena with the help of public funds, it was informed that would not fly. The parties then tried to negotiate a deal that would enable EPE to build a multi-use facility that would seat 3,200. But when EPE refused to agree that it could be sued for meaningful damages if it violated the new agreement, it walked away from the negotiations. At which point, EPE decided to file the current suit, which is pure craziness. In the first place, the language of the lease could not be plainer. A publicly funded 6,200-seat arena violates the explicit terms of the agreement. But beyond that, even if EPE somehow wins the suit, what happens then? Y'all are in bed together. See, it's kind of like during the Kennedy assassination. Doesn't that suck to find out? 4 of the assassins were Cuban, 4 were CIA. See, sometimes they fight each other and make y'all think they're really something to have a war about. And other times they hook up together and go kill somebody that it's in their mutual benefit that that person zips their lip. I call bullshit. Okay, we're going to finish this up. Winning the suit wouldn't force the city to give EPE money for the new arena. Indeed, why in the world would it want to give more money to an enterprise that just took it to court? Answer, it wouldn't. Especially when it knows that doing that might damage relations with the Grizzlies. Hey, who are these Grizzlies? Is it baseball? Is it soccer? Is it football? Or are they really bears? I don't know. And at a time when the ownership and future of the Grizzlies is at the very least up in the air, the city and county are especially mindful of the need to live up to the spirit of the agreement that brought the franchise here in the first place. Hey, wait, this is exactly what happened with the Cardinals football, or the Rams, whichever one they were. You know, this happened in St. Louis just a few years ago. They built a brand new stadium. Oh, it was the Rams, right. So the Rams stay, and then they go to California because they had a bigger stadium or something. See, these are cover stories just so they can just bleed it white. That's what they call it in blood libel cases or blood ritual. Bleed it white. It's a flat, sharp blade. Small wonder Strickland is livid. Small wonder the Grizzlies are likely confused. No, because if it's football, they got hit in the head too many times. That's why they're confused. EPE is biting the hand that recently fed it millions in tax incentives. How neighborly is that? In the meantime, EPE is free to start building that arena. They can crank up the bulldozers today. They just can't use public money to do it. And nothing in this ill-considered tantrum of a lawsuit is going to change that. Oh, what's that old story? No publicity is bad the whole way around. So if you make bad publicity, it's good publicity because somebody's seeing it. I'm not in. Okay, so we took care of that, didn't we? We got so many other things to take care of too. But I'll tell you one thing. Hey, this is one of my buddies at Patreon. Let's go check this out. Now, this is a midnight message from Chris, and it's confirmation of spirit. But let's zip over. Oh, this is my buddy Bar None. I know exactly who this is. Okay, so he's really cool. You can find him at https://www.patreon.com/barnun11970. Yeah, I love that. I sat in on that chat, and it was beautiful. I mean, just the interaction between the people. Okay. Let me just get back here. And we are going to... Hey, this is fun. I can do 2 screens. All right, so we'll zip over to YouTube. And that way I can keep my music going and pull up a playlist. Okay, so we've got Susan Off Planet TV with Randy Moggins. And we've got this list. I know it's hard to see. There's too much glare. That's all right. Of the different videos. So to give you something to look at. And then, whoa, 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 where'd I go? No, 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 no. Where'd I go? Oh, that wasn't fun. And that's not it. Hey, where'd my live stream go? Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay, here I am. Everything's fine. We lost the music, but that's okay. I found my face again. I can go over here and get the music. Watch this too. All right, so let's go to royalty-free music real quick. And I have a new friend to introduce. It's so nice that there's people that are sharing with artists. And of course, I like to give a lot of credit to these new friends. I mean, how cool. Let's go check this dude out. Okay, now this is a channel called Orbital Music. And this was published on March 28th, 2014. And it's by Kevin Macleod. And the name of it is Scheming Weasel. And I thought that it would be good to have that kind of music. It would have really been perfect when we were reading those ridiculous articles, but it's still good right now. So I'm just glad to be here, and I'm grateful for Kevin and Orbital Music, and I think these people are awesome. So we'll bring some music back up. I like music in my shows. It's kind of funny music. Listen, it sounds like something you'd want to hear when you're talking about scams. That's nice, isn't it? I had it turned down for the other one. That cracks me up. Okay. Now, what we need to do is hit another tab. Hey, there he is. Okay. Okay. Now, we're going back to Randy. This is so much fun. As long as I don't get lost. Okay. See, I got music. And I've got your visuals. I can even scoot the camera up a little bit for you guys. All right. So, I'm going to just kind of scroll slow, and I'm not going to look up, okay? Now, like I told you, I have 3 lovely ones. But in the meantime, we have one called Elvis Presley Paternity Suit. And that's by ENTE 1980. You know that I've investigated a lot of these different, fatherless sons of the king of rock and roll, and we've gone over that in great detail, but I knew who that was the minute they pulled it up. Then we have rituals in the music industry, and that's by the Vigilant One. And I wanted to give him a heart because I love that he's getting the information out. But if I told you it was a lovely video with sunshine and flowers, I'd be fibbing. And it's more kind of like you really have to have no fear to watch that one, because if you know what's going on in Hollywood, which everybody does, no doubt, you know, the whole Corey Feldman exposure. And now the best part is we've got a true guy that we can validate his timeline, Keanu Reeves. So he steps up to call these SOBs out too. You gotta love that. But you can find that, Rituals in the Music Industry, at the Vigilant One. Then we have Elvis Presley's 82nd birthday celebration by Outlaw Films. Now, of course, I know Outlaw Films because they're the ones that made that movie, if you can call it that, with the fuzzed out, you know, characterization of the man he's going to pass off as Elvis, saying it's John Burroughs, yakety yak. The whole thing with the papers coming in a box with wet ink in it, on and on. Outlaw Films, little did I know, the dude that runs that page, like he's a felon or something and wanted. You can find stuff on YouTube about him too. He is not a nice man. I guess that's why he calls his project Outlaw Films. What do I know? Next we have Elvis Alive, alleged half-sister says yes. And that's Mr. Breeze Through. Yeah, I bet you are Mr. Breeze Through. Now, I know about that one too. And so see, here's where this, you know, big court case is that nobody could ever get open. But this gal, you know, is kin to Vernon. That'd be through the second marriage. And then you get the story about the stepbrothers and yakety squack and who gets the money. When I was first investigating it too, you know, hundreds of legal documents were uploaded onto my computer without my permission, let's say, at the least. But it's really good for the proof to the case. So I have the letter she actually, you know, allegedly penned and talked about her young life to kind of corroborate all these different things that Elvis was her daddy. Okay. Chillin' with Adam featuring Elvis. Now, seriously, when I saw Chillin' with Adam, you know, I thought of Mr. AP #1, the International Man of Mystery, but see, his name is spelled ADEM. And of course, this is Chillin' with ADAM. And now we're getting into the spooky psychic stuff where the mediums, you know, communicate with the dead and give you the messages. And they're also hooked up with the people I would expect them to be. Oh yeah, I've checked it out. You can find them at Chillin' with Adam. Next, we have Controlled Unclassified Information, or FIA. And you can find that at the U.S. National Archives. Now, of course, Controlled Unclassified Information is what was released about the Kennedy assassination. So everybody's reading a pile of papers this tall, you see. They're missing the videos made by dedicated YouTube creators that collaborated and joined forces to bring an accurate timeline. Okay. Oh, and by the way, since the days of Kennedy's assassination, you know, they can cut things out of film footage and put it all back together nice and neat so it looks like one clear stream. And thanks to the International Man of Mystery, he proved it to me months back, and he or anybody else that's as talented as he is could alter pictures and clip film and do all sorts of cute little stuff. Next, and this is one of my favorites, kinda. Okay, it says the real Elvis is now Rob Joyce, and Tom Rust put that out. But anyhow, see, I was the one that cracked the code on the two Bob Joyces. And so Mr. Rust here was making fun and brought Rob in because, of course, as a spiritual researcher and a remote viewer, I found an interesting little video that I just love. I mean, seriously, called Rob Joyce Interview. And it's by the Duchess of Rock and Roll. Rob Joyce is a young man in his late teen years that plays a mean guitar, man. And so now that's been brought together in a good way, you know, where people can kind of get a laugh out of it. Turn that ad. No, don't turn it down there. I might have messed up my my volume. Okay. Next, and this, what a disrespectful piece this was. The Life and Death of Elvis Presley by those conspiracy guys. What a piss and match that was. And, you know, here again, besides being very intuitive and being a hairdresser, they needed a woman on the case that wasn't out for the take or wanted to get something. And that's me, all right. Next, we have Friends and Family Remember Elvis by Aaron Crane. That's the one I say is vampire Priscilla or fake Priscilla. You know, doppelganger Priscilla, whatever you want to call her. Is, you know, talking about her man, even though we know it was an arranged marriage. Come on. She was too young. Her daddy was a general in the army. Besides that, of course, you know, the whole thing about she never, you know, could love again. She had men, and I mean, she wasn't holding a candle. Come on, give me a break. And in the end, she runs a lot of EPE too. So anytime Priscilla talks, I gotta go itch my ear, get a cup of tea, or do something, because I'm embarrassed for her hair color personally, but that's just me speaking as a holistic stylist again. Next, we have Elvis Is Trump. Philtrum proves it. And this is by Bank of Spirit. Now, this silly ass piece actually combines the physical man, Trump, with the physical man, Elvis. And, you know, when they recruited me, and here I was seeing this alleged Elvis, always up Trump's rear end. I mean, the button-up Vato suit that matches everybody else, that makes you look like you're in the Illuminati, you know, part of the hive mind. I didn't buy that from the start. So, Bank of Spirit, you're bankrupt. Next, how to expose a clone or an imposter on Facebook. And that's by a guy that's highly traumatized and confused. His channel is Knights of the King's Realm. He's here in Missouri with me. Got a lot of issues, but good guy. A little confused. I think he's just batting for the wrong team and doesn't know it. I'd hate to think he was sinister. I like to believe he is an innocent that's being manipulated. Then, the next step we have training unauthorized disclosures. And that's by Greg Butler. That's a piece where, you know, pretty much the shadow government's telling you exactly how they do it, or the government, whoever you want to believe that is, doing these training videos on how to do unauthorized disclosure. I just make it real simple on them, tell them it's heartbrain, and that everything they do is monitored, measured, and evaluated. Next, we have unauthorized disclosure, and that's at publicresources.org. They sure do have a lot of instructional information on this data dump that accidentally happened. See, they have to disclose their plan. There is the law of the universe that dictates these things. I know, that was nice with that music break right there. Okay. Next, we have the Freedom of Information Act. That's the FOIA advisory. And you can find that again at U.S. National Archives. Here's a great one that I know ties to the fake side, the state side, the Graceland debauchery side. It's called He's Your Uncle, Not Your Dad. Now here we have Elvis in a very politically correct stance, you know, saluting Uncle Sam, etc., etc. But you can find that at a channel called Elvis J.M. Done 77. And the more I thought about that, I thought, why are you saying Elvis is done and then you're sticking those initials in there and putting the year with it? See, I think you're kind of saying na boo boo. I think it's all kind of a joke, which I don't think any of this is a joke. Okay, last but not least, Elvis was a CIA mind control slave. Shame on you, Joe Atwell. Atwell, Atwell. I've listened to you for a while. I think you're just hurt. And you were on Freeman Fly. And then we get into all the other, you know, side of the Freemasonry. So see, just like any secret society or any group or any government or any caste of people, color, race, creed, whatever, believe it or not, there are wonderful people as well as a few rotten apples, and a few rotten apples screw everything up. Okay, back to the three that we love. We have Elvis Backstage Interview, March 1972, by Dana Lee. And of course, I love this because this is the actual original stock footage from the interview that later on, when I was taking that footage on my iPhone, I'm just talking about the original footage, they were kind enough to flip the cameras around and let the world see how they could put me right into an Elvis clip. So you can find that on my YouTube too. And I was so happy that I had that in this playlist. Next, and I saw this, months ago. It's the new Elvis Memphis Museum by the Happy Wanderers. Now this nice couple travels around together in their mobile home. And they went to go see this deal. And while everybody was at Graceland taking the tour, these two are at the Half Done Museum. And dude's got his, his iPhone camera out, and he's letting the world see. Well, they told him he better turn that camera off or they would whatever. But he got the footage. So it's really sad when these people who love Elvis, just like family, get ripped off or get disrespected or mistreated. So you see here again, I promise you, Elvis would not approve, nor would any true Presley. And there are so many Presleys around the globe and friends of the Presleys. So believe it or not, see, this is a family that goes back to AD 454. So you got to give some respect to this whole arising of truth. I think it's the biggest story of this century. And I also believe that as it comes forward,
for both of them, the most challenging opponent,
it has that divine essence where it can heal the trauma of everyone that's suffered.
I had to learn all I could to help protect myself.
My doctor
Okay, one more.
Help keep me protected.
Elvis Presley outtakes from Jailhouse Frog by John David Allen. Now, this is where we start out with whatever take it is in 2013.
Here's how Xarelto works.
I've
Works differently.
come across ones from 2002, 2004, 2006, 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2013.
Taking Xarelto without talking to your
Yeah.
doctor, as this may increase risk of blood clots.
Seen them all.
You may bruise more easily.
Okay.
Take longer for bleeding.
We knocked that out.
It may increase your risk of bleeding if you take certain medicines. Xarelto can cause serious and in rare cases
Okay.
fatal bleeding. Get help right
Last
away.
but not least.
Usually bruising or tingling. If you've had spinal anesthesia,
Let me trade chairs again.
nerve or muscle-related signs or symptoms. Do not take Xarelto if you have an artificial.
Oh, I'm not taking Xarelto no matter what, don't you worry.
And before starting Xarelto,
Where is
about any
that?
conditions such as kidney, liver, or bleeding problems.
You've got
See, we just shut that up just like that. Okay. So anyhow, I have all of these videos that I've done. And there's the back page of it. I was amazed. And of course, I've done a couple since then. The last one we have here is 10/16/2017. Okay, so let's take them in order, and I'm just going to read it to you. Elvis disclosure, take 3.5. Happy Valentine's Day, Elvis. Sophia's Emporium welcomes back the one and only Elvis Presley. That was February 15th, 2017. Elvis says, read The Impersonal Life via Sophia's Emporium, February 16th. Suze, Steiner, and Elvis, February Phenomena, Sophia's Emporium, February 28th. Christed News with Suze, March 28th. King Presley Lives, Timeline with Elvis and Me, April 1st. Elvis, Alive and Defined, Meet the Family with Sophia's Emporium, April 3rd. Remote Viewing, All the King's Men with Elvis and SKMI, April 5th. Elvis Alive, Too Much Monkey Business, and Multiples on the Take, April 6th. Sophia's Emporium and Elvis Aaron Presley, Palm Sunday edition, April 7th. Oh, April 9th. Sorry. Elvis concert after 1980, best concert ever, uninterrupted, April 11th. Maundy Thursday with the Christed with Y'all, April 13th. Sophia's Emporium with Adam Presley, April 29th. On Being Mr. AP, Sophia's Emporium and Og Tellez, May 20th. 48-hour Elvis warning, incoming with Sophia's Emporium, July 9th. Hey, that's the one where I get outlaw films, by the way. Elvis Memphis Update at the Lionsgate, August 6th. That's the one where they flip the camera around on me, so if you go to that, you'll see how I'm woven in to Elvis's interview. Don't get me wrong, you won't see the picture like this all lit up. It's a little dimmer and it's shadowy, you know. You're playing like investigator. Next, we have Within the Watchful Eye of Elvis, Sophia's Emporium, August 15th. Celebrating Life with Adam Presley and Elvis Aaron, August 16th. Elvis Week Update, Cons Incorporated with Sophia's Emporium, August 18th. 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong with Sophia's Emporium, August 20th. A Mandela Effect short with Sophia's Emporium and Elvis, September 9th. Elvis Equinox Expose and the Never-Ending Story, September 23rd. Keeping Up on the Presley Mystery with Sophia's Emporium, October 8th. Elvis Presley's Eternal Message and Confirmation of Spirit, October 16th. And watch this. Okay, so we go back and I'll show you the last couple. Okay, we're live right now, as you can see. We have, since that October one, on October 16th, okay. This is the one where we get the Presley lineage and the variations of the name Presley, and we go around the world in the Elvis extravaganza from Tupelo to the Presley Mountains. And of course, my cameras were being flipped around and we were having a good old time. So it's also uploaded where you get to see a different version of it, because I always have two, one through this computer, one through that. That way if something goes wrong, I don't have to stomp my foot and cry. That's it. That's all. That's all I've done on this job. All right. Oh, but wait, that's not true. I have, on the lighter side of the mystery, starting back in April, on April 5th, I published Elvis Concert, Belle Star, a spaghetti western with Sophia's Emporium. On April 24th, I published one called And I Love You So. On April 30th, we have Walking on the Wild Side of Wonder with Sophia's Emporium. On July 4th, we have Etiquette, Beauty, and Mr. A.P. #1 Dinner Show with Sophia's Emporium. That'd be Adam Presley, ADEM. And then on July 6th, Wisdom of the Ages on Men and Their Hats with Sophia's Emporium. And of course, he's woven into many of my other shows. Hey, maybe you know why now I'm always saying phenomena and progress, and I will also say confirmation of spirit, and I tag these things, and just like a secretary would, which I was trained to do in my younger years, I file them all away in my heart brain and put these shows out. Now, before we get out of here for the evening, it's also important to here again to bring up that you may really want to go study a couple channels. And to me, it links up with my experience. And keep in mind, too, that even though I'm having this experience in this way, everyone is having the same experience in a different way. Each one unique, individual, as well as awesome. And so we have to remember the definition of awesome. It's not just, hey, man, that's cool. It's like awesome, like, oh shit, I'm going to pee my pants. You know, like some people are terrified. Not me. I've known my whole life that these days would come, and I had the premonitions and the dreams and a lot of other things. So, a channel you could check out is called Mandela Effect Decoded. And that's John Lamb Lash. I think I would also maybe check out a channel called Lazarus Effect, Lazarus Effect. If you want some really great music. Now, these are all things that are involved in this phenomena. I'm not just giving a plug to my YouTube channel, people that I dig. It's all relative. We have Hellmaker. Hey, you know Hellmaker, don't you, over there? I know you guys do. Mr. AP, bless your heart. And hey, Ben Quint, what a great guy. Total class. I bet these all got something really important in common that y'all are going to figure out one day. And I love this guy. AJGHERTS2. We better go look real quick, because I know you'll want to see something uplifting after you heard all this. Okay. Now look, right here, we have the continuing search for Elvis, Tupelo in Memphis. And this, the first one that just says Tupelo, that was uploaded first, and it's a half-hour long. If you choose to watch that one, that's great. This other one, which is an hour 46:34, has the beginning of this one in this one, and you will get the complete rundown. And what I thought was so fascinating about this, as far as my own experience goes, okay, so people really, really have been working on this a long time. I mean, they put their hearts into it. And, you know, they go to check it out. Funny, buildings have been moved. The actual addresses of buildings still standing have been changed. Even the addresses of the housing complex where they stayed, the numbers have been changed within the complexes themselves. Streets have been closed off. I mean, it's kind of like coming to Ferguson and going to Kinloch and trying to find your aunt's house. I mean, they knocked it down and changed it around years ago, and maybe they do that on purpose. So this is a great channel, and I always feel very safe when I'm here with this nice man. Okay. Now, who else? I mean, there's a million. There really is. You might want to check out John Cook. Gets more interesting all the time. And like I say, I believe Bob Joyce to truly be a prophet. And I'll leave it at that. Of course, you should check out my buddy Randy Moggins at Off Planet Media. Good grief. John David Allen, great channel. I can go on and just point and point and point, but I'm trying to move through it really quick. Beautiful artwork at this one. Lay Comedy Dell. Hey, there's that guy again. Love that channel. Hey, really, I mean, this is the Magical Mystery Tour, and I'm going to probably leave it at that. Everything up top was what I needed to talk about. If I've forgotten anybody, please forgive me. It's a great group of people all around the world. Hey, and none of this would be possible without saying goodnight to Tom Rust. And hey, Tony Pappas is a cool guy. He says, you know, you're an Elvis fan, huh? And I'm like, yeah, you are too, huh? All right. That's enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I feel like I have one more that I have to do to set the stage for what's coming. So I'll be bringing that this week sometime. Be looking for it. It'll be exciting. Until then, thanks for watching. And peace, love, and light from the Big Yellow House on the third cosmic ray in the ghetto. In the ghetto.